All right, y'all, it's been a wild week because I'm preparing to go away on my birthday trip. So I've been super busy and I've been trying to cover this Diddy case at the same time. But let's talk about Miss Gypsy Rose Blanchard because, child, things are getting crazy. Gypsy Rose posted yesterday that she's going on a 30-day hiatus off of TikTok. Why do you think that is? You know, they're going to host a whole live and say it's because she just needs some time or whatever, because you know them folks be lying. But I'm sure y'all know what it is. Drop it down in the comments and let me see how many of y'all guess what I think. All right, so that's for starters. But then Bree and Gypsy were on a live yesterday. I didn't catch the whole thing because, child, I really can't sit on a live with Bree because you already know. Like, it is hard to listen to Bree. I want y'all to listen to this clip. Y'all tell me what you think. Because Bree's so disturbed, for a lack of a better word. Yo, when I tell you these people are panini pressed over me, it don't make no sense. I can't make it make sense. But yeah, so I want y'all to watch this. But after that is a spin a block. And this spin a block is really crazy because it really had me in my feelings. Because y'all remember Kate Marie. I was defending her in this video. And child, oh, have the tables turned. It's crazy. It's getting crazy out here. Okay? Now, don't take off all your clothes. That's all I know. So, we're dealing with that. Then that stuff with Christy popped up on Bree's laptop. It's so funny to see what was happening this time last year, y'all. It's really tickling to me. It's so tickling to me. There's a lot of gems and berries in here. Let me know what y'all think after watching this because I think it's super funny. I was laughing watching this.
Talk about that, Gypsy.
I have no idea what's going on. I talked to Ken and he's like, well, watch the episode, but, he's keeping close to the vest,
Oh, yeah, Dreamer was not happy with Ken.
Yeah, he said as much. He said, Dreamer...
I gotta be honest with you, Gypsy. I was not happy with it. I didn't like the fact that he was giving you an ultimatum, and then he was giving you an ultimatum. The last guy that gave me an ultimatum was about a parrot. He gave me an ultimatum between him and the bird. I says, there's the door.
Was it a parrot?
Parrot. Oh, Dreamer. It wasn't happy. Y'all need to follow this woman because she got some stories, okay?
This is where I gotta come in on the guy.
You follow me. Take your choice. Dreamer was like,
I gotta come in.
Just follow me. And her mom
come in.
The woman I call her mom follows me.
Emotions run high in those type of situations, guys.
I know.
Emotions run high. And
there's a lot of emotions, and
people say things they don't mean in the moment.
All the time.
They gotta say sorry and take them back, and I'm sure he did.
He did. I mean, right after he said it, he's like, I'm sorry. I'm just really upset right now. I didn't mean it. Because, I started to cry, and, y'all all gonna see in the next episode a lot of stuff that, maybe didn't make sense in the last episode is going to make more sense in the next episode because I don't get to watch it before it airs. None of us do. So we're watching it with everybody else. And, I know what all happened. And so it was a high emotional situation. And
wait, there's one more.
Yeah, there's one on next Monday.
I
understand. I think a lot of people will understand the position that I was put in, but also understand the position that Ken was in. And I don't know if you're going to show all the text between me and Ryan from that moment in time when Ken gave me that ultimatum, because I was, trying to navigate the paternity test stuff. And like we see in episode 10, Ryan did not want to accept the paternity test that we had already did before she was born. He wanted another one after she was born. And so
I don't have a response right now.
Hey friends, so this is Kate. I have been in communication with her for months. I have actually commented on some of her posts. I've also reposted some things, and we have spoken in detail. And the person that commented on this video, you all know who I'm speaking of, has been bullying her on the internet for quite some time. But Kate is a true Munchausen by proxy victim. Her mom was diagnosed by her doctors, by Kate's doctors, for having Munchausen by proxy. Her mother's still alive, so she wasn't diagnosed after her passing because you can't diagnose a corpse. However, the person that commented on her post wants to be the face for Munchausen by proxy, which is not what her mother had. If you look up the disorder that this person has, it will add up to why she's had all those operations. But those of you that are watching this that know what she has, can you guys drop it down in the comments below? Because if I say it on here, I don't want this post to be taken down. You guys go research what it says in the comments, because you will find out that the entire reason why she has been constantly saying Munchausen by proxy is because what's in her medical records would say that what she's been saying, she hasn't been honest about. But this is alleged. It's alleged. But this is the truth. I want you guys to like and follow Kate. Like I said, she is an amputee. Her mother had her leg amputated as a child. So she is definitely someone that has suffered. In fact, the person that we are speaking of that commented on this post, she tried to give the exact same story that Kate has given. And Kate's is true. So is that other person's true? Also, that other person has changed their story multiple times. If you don't believe me, go watch all the different stories. She told it different on Dr. Phil. She told it different in her documentary. So the facts are there. You can do your own research. So please don't forget to drop the disorder down below because I can't say it. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye for now. Gypsy Rose Blanchard went from this.
Hey, so today is Mother's Day, and I wanted to make a video basically celebrating the really strong and wonderful women that I have in my life that have been mother figures to me over the last 8.5 years. I first want to start off by saying I did turn off the comments to this video because I don't want to hear any negative bullshit. If you want to talk shit about me, by all means, I don't give an F. Go do it on your own platform, but I'm not going to see it in my comments. Okay?
To this.
Get ready with me. So I'm going to start by putting up my hair and applying my moisturizer first. So I didn't even know that you had to apply moisturizer on before you did your makeup.
In 3 days. And let's talk about why. So let's keep in mind that Gypsy Rose Blanchard is on parole, which means she is still property of the state. She is serving her time out here on these streets, but she's still legally bound to clink clink. However, Gypsy Rose, in order to get out on parole, she had to take accountability for her actions and pretty much say that she was going to come out here on these streets and become a better person. And she did this video. Now, if you've seen this video, which I have most of it on my page from Sunday, you would realize that she gave zero accountability and she blamed her mom as the victim and became a victim again, which is not a good look, especially not for the parole board, not for her parole officers. Just overall, it's not a good look. It really just shows that she's taking zero accountability and she is going to always be the victim. And she was very abrasive and very aggressive in that video. And you can see in this new one, she has toned it down quite a bit and really flipped the switch. I'm not really sure if maybe someone put something in her applesauce to calm her down, but it really has shown like a different side of her. I mean, of course, we know that it's likely a facade, but it shows you how quick that flip is, right? And that is signs of a... All right, so moving right along, I also want to show you guys a video that I came across today. I do edit this. I also put it on YouTube, but I think that this guy has some great insight. His name is Eric. I am going to tag him below. I would love for you to go to his page and follow him. He has also made other videos on Gypsy Rose, and he is a private investigator. He has the credentials to back up what he's saying. So let's roll the clip.
Good morning, everybody. Eric Zelai with Zelai Associates, private investigators. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Thank you for watching this video. I want to throw a video up here again about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, because again, Miss Blanchard is in the news, and I posted a video about this before in my thoughts, but I want to share some renewed thoughts about Miss Blanchard and what's been going on. So, as a reminder for those that are probably new to my page, I am a licensed private investigator here in Florida. I am a board-certified forensic death investigator, as well as a board-certified criminal defense investigator. I hold undergraduate certificates in forensic psychology and criminology. I specialize in mainly homicide investigations and dealing with people that we can consider in society as serial killers. And most of my work is defending those that have been accused of such heinous crimes. Now, first and foremost, everybody has a story. Everybody has an upbringing. Some people's upbringing was worse than others. I myself have my own story, as do many people. And life is what we make it. In my line of work, obviously, we have what's called mitigation. And I'm a strong believer that people can in fact change, and that somebody who's been accused of a crime, gets convicted of a crime, can in fact be released and be a contributing member of society. But in order to do that, you must also take responsibility for your actions, not blame other people for your actions, and humble yourself and be able to essentially grow and repair the damage that you have caused because of your actions. Now, most of us know that Gypsy's mother, Diddy, was very controlling, very manipulative, very narcissistic. And as I have watched Gypsy's body language in her interviews on social media and everything that's going on now, I start to see a lot of the same behavior taking place in Gypsy as she gets older and as she's exposed more into the world. And it's concerning to me because she's done several interviews now where she has kind of walked away from her culpability in her involvement in her mother's death. And for all intents and purposes, she is in fact a killer. Even though she may not have pulled the trigger, may not have held the knife, she did enlist the assistance of somebody with autism and mental health issues to kill her mother. She manipulated that individual into killing her mother. And she has walked away from her culpability in that and separated her from Nicholas GODEJOHN'S involvement and is pretty much playing the victim now. And as you can see, she has become quite a celebrity, and for whatever reason, we as a society like to put these types of people on pedestals.
So there you have it, folks. From a professional saying that, you know, she really hasn't changed at all, if any. And it's quite interesting to see that flip. We know that she's done it before in the past. She went from, I'm living my best life, to sitting down and trying to explain what Munchausen by proxy is. So we have seen this behavior before in the past, and she's back on the same jive, basically. And I honestly think that Mother's Day video was deleted because it didn't look good. I'm not really sure who's advising her. As we have already discovered, she doesn't have a PR person, but she is making some very rookie mistakes that in the eyes of the court and the eyes of anyone watching shows exactly what the private investigator Eric was saying. And these are things that we really have to watch out for with her, because it's just showing that we've seen it all before. And so that is my take on this situation, and I wanted you guys to see the contrast and to hear my opinion based on what I have seen from her. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all your support. We are fighting for justice for Nick. So you guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye for now. I'm gonna need you to grab your drinks and take a seat. Y'all need to go back and look at that post. Now, I seen someone say that I was exploiting who she was. No, I'm not. This woman has posted about me for weeks and told lies and been dishonest and tried to threaten me, which Gypsy actually did repost her. And Gypsy thought that she was going to spite me. But I kept telling them to leave me alone, because I don't play. This is not for play for me. If you come for me and I have not sent for you, and you keep begging for my attention, I have arrived. Now I have given you your attention. Do you like it? Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Y'all, it's tea time with Nina. I'm gonna need you to grab your drinks and take a seat. Cause I'm about to spill some tea. It's gonna be short but sweet, baby. You know the girl with the B name that is friends with Christy and Gypsy Blanchard, correct? Christy Blanchard is very much a older woman. Do I stand corrected? Well, I have something to show y'all. I need you guys to really pay attention, because I can't read this out loud, because I might get myself into some trouble. This is Miss Ma'am's search engine. I need you guys to screenshot this and zoom in and come back to comment, because the tea is hot. Now, would this make some sense as to why her and Christy Blanchard are such good friends? I don't know. Drop down in the comments what you think. Marissa, this is just for you, since I know you blocked her. I know you can't see the comments, so I'm gonna show them to you. The first one says, unalive this look like she did her mom. The next one says, slay mama, she did. The next one says, if looks could kill, Diddy, you know what I'm talking about. Then it says, slaying is what she does best. Diddy, don't you agree? This one says, this look is to die for. Right, Diddy? Killing it again like last season. You better slay. Just not anybody's mama. Diddy would be so proud. She's still killing. She killed that. Somebody said, I'm just here for the comments. Boo, me too, because I flew to the comments. I actually broke my leg on the way to the comments, okay?
Dear Diary, today was a complete mess. Nina did a video about Nick, and people really actually got to see who I really am. Then I tried to post Bree's page on my TikTok page, trying to get her to get more followers, and she completely embarrassed me. She spoke about Nina so badly, but I forgot that Nina had such a loyal following. I totally forgot. And the way Nina's talking about my man, I'm not liking it. She actually showed the video of Ken telling her to come get drinks, and it's on him. I'm not okay with any of this at all. I'm honestly sick and tired of Nina being so honest, because I need her to lie so people stop liking her.
Good morning, everybody. Eric's Align with Line Associates, Private Investigators. A happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Thank you for watching this video. I want to throw a video up here again about Gypsy Rose Blanchard because, again, Miss Blanchard is in the news, and I posted a video about this before and my thoughts, but I want to share some renewed thoughts about Miss Blanchard and what's been going on. So, as a reminder for those that are probably new to my page, I am a licensed private investigator here in Florida. I am a board-certified forensic death investigator as well as a board-certified criminal defense investigator. I hold undergraduate certificates in forensic psychology and criminology. I specialize in mainly homicide investigations and dealing with people that we can consider in society as serial killers. And most of my work is defending those that have been accused of such heinous crimes. Now, first and foremost, everybody has a story. Everybody has an upbringing. Some people's upbringing was worse than others. I myself have my own story, as do many people. And life is what we make it. In my line of work, obviously, we have what's called mitigation. And I am a strong believer that people can in fact change, and that somebody who's been accused of a crime and gets convicted of a crime can in fact be released and be a contributing member of society. But in order to do that, you must also take responsibility for your actions, not blame other people for your actions, and humble yourself and be able to essentially grow and repair the damage that you have caused because of your actions. Now, most of us know that Gypsy's mother, Diddy, was very controlling, very manipulative, very narcissistic. And as I have watched Gypsy's body language in her interviews, on social media, and everything that's going on now, I start to see a lot of the same behavior taking place in Gypsy as she gets older and as she's exposed more into the world. And it's concerning to me because she's done several interviews now where she has kind of walked away from her culpability in her involvement in her mother's death. And for all intents and purposes, she is in fact a killer. Even though she may not have pulled the trigger, may not have held the knife, she did enlist the assistance of somebody with autism and mental health issues to kill her mother. She manipulated that individual into killing her mother. And she has walked away from her culpability in that and separated her from GODEJOHN'S involvement and is pretty much playing the victim now. And as you can see, she has become quite a celebrity. And for whatever reason, we as a society like to put these types of people on pedestals. And a lot of people have put Gypsy Rose, who is a convicted felon, who is on probation, on a pedestal.
It's only day 3 of Diddy's trial, and the courtroom is on fire. Cassie's still testifying, and the jury is reacting to the blackmail receipts. And it's wild. And yes, now Kid Cudi is in this mess. Y'all, let's get into it. Now on day 3, Cassie testified that Diddy had threatened to release the freak-off footage, not just to control her, but to hurt her relationships. And specifically, she said when she started to get close to Kid Cudi, Diddy pulled out one of those explicit videos and showed it to her and said he'd leak it if she didn't fall back. That's not just abusive. That's weaponizing humiliation. It's not about acts. It's about power. It's about control and keeping her an emotional hostage. And let's not forget, this is a man that's full of access to the media outlets, brand deals, PR machines. He knew exactly what kind of threat could do to her public image and her career. And y'all, it wasn't just what she said. It was how she said it. Sources in the room said Cassie nearly broke down, recounting the threats. Her voice cracked. She paused multiple times. She even had to steady herself. Meanwhile, ABC reported that the juries looked visibly shaken. People were covering their mouths, shifting in their seats, staring Diddy down. That's not normal. That's a room that's feeling something, feeling emotion, and really hearing the testimony. This is only day 3, and the courtroom already feels like the verdict is forming. And we have so many days and weeks ahead. Let me break this down for the people saying she was grown. Why didn't she leave? Or this wasn't trafficking. When someone controls your money, your image, your location, your medications, your relationships, and then throws blackmail on top of that, that's psychological entrapment. She didn't need chains. She didn't need a cage. She was being managed like a brand, but treated like property. And if you're still saying, but she chose this, ask yourself, was it a choice if she was being filmed without her full consent and threatened with exposure? That's not a relationship. That's extortion dressed up in luxury. Now, day 3 dragged Christina Quorum's name back up into the vibes. Multiple civil lawsuits are saying she coordinated the freak-offs, arranged hotels, managed NDAs, and made it all run smoothly. That's why people are calling her Ghislaine Maxwell 2.0. And while she denies it, let's be real, you don't get to be chief of staff without knowing the calendar. And baby, that calendar included abuse. Cassie didn't name her in the testimony, but the lawsuit's stacking and the public pressure is heating up. And baby, remember, she went MIA, went off all social media platforms, closed her email down, and everything the day after Diddy got locked up. And then there's the DJ Khaled footage that Diddy had resurfaced. It's harmless on the surface, just them hanging out. But now it looks like a part of the bigger picture because everyone's asking how many people in the industry saw something and said nothing. It's the same energy we saw with R. Kelly, just on a bigger scale with more money. And everyone kinda knew, but the money was flowing and nobody said a word. We have to start asking the harder questions. Who enabled him? Who helped him cover this up? And who's still benefiting from his silence? And let me speak to the filtered comments real quick. Where's the proof? Everybody's lying for money. Let me be crystal clear. This isn't a takedown. This is accountability. Diddy being famous doesn't give him a pass to abuse people. We can't fight for injustices and still say a predator deserves protection and survivors don't. So let's recap. Blackmail over freak-off tapes, breakdowns in the courtroom, the jury looking visibly upset. Kid Cudi is now in this, and this is only day 3, and Diddy's empire is already crumbling. I'm tracking every day on how this trial goes. So follow, save, hit the link in the bio for full commentary on my YT because this tea is not just hot, it's federal, and it's only just begun. Diddy's trial took a devastating turn. Cassie didn't just take the stand, she broke it. From a $20 million hush money settlement to a post-breakup assault that left her wanting to herself. This isn't gossip. It's courtroom testimony, but let's get into it. So let's start with the headlines that had jaws dropping. During her 3rd day of testimony, Cassie Ventura confirmed that she did settle her lawsuit against Diddy, and y'all, it was for a staggering $20 million. This answers the questions that a lot of people were speculating about. How much money was involved when she actually came forward with these extensive, explosive allegations late last year? Now, before the internet tries to spin this into a money grab, let's be clear. That settlement happened outside of criminal court. This trial is federal. It's about ex-trafficking, abuse, coercion, and power. Civil settlements don't cancel criminal accountability, period. Then came the moment that silenced the entire room. Cassie testified that after they broke up, Diddy showed up at her home in 2018 under guise of closure. But instead of closure, she said he raped her on the floor of her own home. She told the jury that the trauma was so intense that she tried to end it. And you know what I mean? She couldn't carry the pain anymore. Think about that. You escaped the relationship. You tried to move on, and he still violates you and then threatens to leak intimate videos to shame you into silence. Cassie said Diddy weaponized humiliation, and it didn't stop when they split. If you're still asking why she stayed, this is why. If you're still saying she took the money, this is why. And if you're still doubting her reading the court docs and watching the video on TMZ, the whole trial is exposing a pattern. And Cassie's just the beginning. But y'all, I'll do a full breakdown, so follow my YT. Stay seated, stay tight, and grab your holy water, because baby, we gonna need it. This trial is just getting started. Cassie's testimony is powerful, but it's not sealed. What do I mean? The prosecution opened up a lot of emotional doors, but didn't close them with legal locks. And if they don't tighten this up soon, the defense is going to spin this like a bad R&B remix. Let's get into it. Cassie testified about the freak-offs, about the violence, about the blackmail, but the prosecution kept asking her how she felt, instead of locking it in with what he did. They didn't say, did he threaten you? If you refused, what would happen? Did he say he'd hurt your family? Was there an explicit consequence if you tried to leave? That's the type of language federal cases need. Right now, it's emotional, but it's not airtight. And here's the real danger. If the prosecution leaves anything open to assumption, the defense is going to take that door and define the meaning for the jury. And you already know they're going to frame it as a messy relationship and not a criminal enterprise. First off, this isn't about charging him with rape or assault. Those are state charges. And in most states, the statute of limitations, aka the legal time limit to press charges, has probably already expired. So instead, the feds came in with the big guns. He's being charged with things like trafficking by force and coercion. RICO. Now that's a organized crime. That's what's used when you're saying someone ran a criminal enterprise, not just did bad things. And one of the most legally important things Cassie said, she testified that Diddy threatened to leak her explicit videos. That's not just abuse. That's extortion. You cannot threaten someone to release private actual matters to force them into submission. But guess what? He's not being charged under extortion. So unless the prosecution ties that into trafficking and RICO claims, it's just floating. And something that big should have been the cornerstone of this case. Could they still charge him later? Absolutely. The statute of limitations on federal extortion is typically 5 years, but it can be extended if it's part of a criminal enterprise or ongoing conspiracy. So this isn't off the table, but for this trial, they're not using it the way they should. This is a federal trafficking and racketeering case, not a relationship drama. And to win under RICO, they need multiple victims, proving those things that we just mentioned, evidence of structure, NDAs, money, handlers, a pattern of activities across time and straight lines, and clear coercion, threats, and consequences, and control. Right now, they've gone with horrific stories, but that's not enough to prove an enterprise. They're building it, but they haven't sealed it yet. And the defense, they're not going to waste any time twisting it. They're saying the hotel whooping wasn't about a freak-off. It was a fight over a text of Diddy cheating. Sounds weak, but the problem is the prosecution didn't legally tie the beating to Cassie trying to leave or being forced to stay. If they don't walk the connection all the way around the block, from violence to coercion to organized trafficking, the defense is going to turn this into a jealous ex narrative. Because again, if it's not clearly spelled out, it's going to be framed into a narrative that benefits the accused. Cassie's testimony is heartbreaking. But in court, heartbreaking is not enough. The prosecution has the emotion, the trauma, but now they need the law. Because if they don't seal this case airtight, the defense is going to crack it wide open, and extortion should have been the charge they led with. But y'all, stay tight, stay seated, grab your holy water, because baby, we gonna need it. This case is horrific, but I'm not so sure that they are really driving it home. And that is the part that I feel like is really scary. But the good news is the jury has already looked at him in disgust. So they already don't like him. So if they give them enough of a reason to get him on these charges, they're going to take that door. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye for now. Y'all screaming free Diddy like he's a victim. He's not. The real victims, what about Orlando Brown, Usher, Justin Bieber? But instead of defending the ones who were groomed, exploited, and discarded, y'all are capping for a man who allegedly caused it all for nostalgia. So stop pretending and tell the truth. Orlando Brown has been screaming for years about Diddy. Not whispering, but screaming. He dropped his name. He said disturbing and violent actual things that were very traumatic. And what did y'all do? Turn him into a joke, a punchline, another cracked out Disney star. But let's get one thing straight. People don't hallucinate the name for decades. That's not mental illness. That's a trauma leak. And y'all laughing instead of listening.
Ray J in the building. He has his own news channel. If you guys make sure you turn in.
Brother. Love the tweet, man. Wow, thanks, man.
Of course, man, you know.
So he was just saying.
You been to the party, you know it's all white, baby. You know it's all white? Yeah.
You ain't been to no party.
Yeah, it's all white.
Yeah.
Dancing.
No. So what you're saying is, though, honestly, like, since we are on the topic, you have been to
No,
actual
no, bro. You're lying.
Wait a minute, something's going wrong.
We keep going viral too much, and we want to eat all.
Who, me?
You do too.
No, I do.
Yeah, no,
the only person that viral is me. And
I go viral.
No, you don't.
Okay. Can we do a vote? Can we vote? How many more times has Orlando been viral than Ray J?
Usher was living in Diddy's house as a teenager. Wow. What business does a grown man have letting a child that's not his stay with him for the sake of the industry? Usher said himself that he didn't actually work a lot of the time. Do y'all remember that? Actually, check this out.
And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. It was curious. I got a chance to see some things. It was pretty wild.
We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like? I went there to see the lifestyle. Right. And I saw it. It was pretty wild. There were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand. We would fight. We would tussle. More than often, I think Puffy would say, man, you got to chill. Like, you're just a little bit too intense. You know, you got to relax. Like, yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't saying in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? There were a lot of things I seen and a lot of positions that I think I was put in where I had to make very, very tough decisions in my life about who I would be. New York is a little bit too fast for me. You know, I spent like a year here. Like a life. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
He said it was a learning experience. Kevin Hart asked about it on camera and Diddy looked guilty as hell. You think Usher just grew up fast? No. He was surrounded by things no kid should have seen. That's not mentorship. That's grooming. And it left a mark on his life, on his relationships and everything. But no one cared because it didn't come with a hashtag. And nostalgia makes y'all scream free Diddy. What about Justin Bieber? Do y'all remember that interview he did?
I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff in my past, and I wasn't able to move on.
Do you think the person that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive for sure. It was dark. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. People take for granted encounters and I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody.
Do you realize how important your story is? every time I have a conversation with someone who's been through this unique type of experience, I'm searching for some kind of truth that can help.
I commend you for going there and asking the tough questions and the things that people don't want to talk about, and they don't want to go there because it's revealing, and I want people to take a look at my story, and hopefully my words can make a difference.
I mean, you good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you tried to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. But you never really got my number, so.
Right, okay.
My number?
Yeah.
Tell you my number.
Yeah.
Diddy literally said on camera, "I'll be your best friend when you turn 18. What the hell? That's not a joke. That's predatory behavior. He had Bieber and Usher in the house. He called it coaching. What he was doing was controlling Justin. But y'all don't listen to the full story. And he's been so distant. No shout outs, no support, no connection. He got away quietly, and y'all ignored the escape route because y'all loved Bad Boy Records for nostalgia. Their stories are different, but the root is the same. A powerful man with access to boys who couldn't say no. And while they spiraled and stay silent and shut down, you defend the man who hurt them. There's videos of Diddy dragging Cassie. There are lawsuits, federal charges, and y'all acting like he's the one being attacked. No, this man has been protected for years. So no, I'm not yelling free Diddy. I'm yelling, you ignored the signs, you ignored the victims, and now you're defending the predator. Orlando Brown spoke. Y'all laughed. Usher flinched. Y'all shrugged. Justin left, and y'all stayed silent. This is what happens when fame blinds accountability. You're defending the abuser and not the ones who survived him. And that is sad. I got real teas, so let's get into it, because the Diddy trial is messier than a freak-off invitation list, and the courtroom was given pure chaos today. From the witness breakdowns to the allegations that the prosecution still hasn't locked in, here's your full rundown. Cassie Ventura testified about decades of abuse, including being coerced into non-consensual acts with escorts while Combs filmed her. Ventura recounted several physical assaults, including an alleged rape after the 2018 breakup, and incidences of beatings that left her with visible injuries that were brutal. She also disclosed that she attempted to unalive herself before filing the lawsuit. During cross-examination, the defense presented messages suggesting Cassie participated in the freak-offs and it was consensual. However, Ventura maintained that Combs' influence include threats, violence, and drug use became a very dominant part of their relationship. Jurors were shown images from the so-called freak-offs, where Combs allegedly directed Ventura and male escorts to perform actual acts. During the federal raids, authorities found over 1,000 bottles of lubricant, supporting the claims of the orchestrated actual events. Diddy's defense attorneys argued that while the relationship was tumultuous and Combs exhibited violent behavior at times, the acts were domestic in nature and the actual activities were consensual. The defense questioned the motives of the alleged victims, suggesting financial gain, and emphasized the absence of earlier law enforcement reports. Ventura testified about experiencing traumatic flashbacks of alleged abuse by Combs, leading her into wanting to unalive herself. She credited her husband Alex for supporting her through these challenges. An anonymous woman referred to as Jane Doe filed a civil lawsuit alleging Combs raped her in 2001. Prosecutors alleged that Combs attempted to sway witnesses from jail mid-ex-trafficking trial. That is bonkers. Let me be crystal clear. This isn't gossip. This is federal. Now, Section 1591 of Title 18 of the U.S. Code, actual trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, this means if you exploit someone under manipulation, threats, or control of actual purposes, it's a federal offense. Now, RICO. Racketeering, Influenced, and Corruption Organizations Act. This means the government is treating Diddy like a mob boss, not someone who did bad things, but someone who allegedly built an entire system around those bad things, like handlers, NDAs, hush money, logistics, assistance. That's the enterprise. Witnesses tampering with money laundering and transportation and extra activities, these are also in the mix. This isn't cancel culture. This is a potential life sentence if convicted. This trial isn't just about one man's actions. It's about systematic abuse of power and the silencing of victims. The testimonies are harrowing, and the evidence is mounting. As the trial continues, it's crucial to listen to survivors and hold those powers accountable.